All right, so this is page 137. And for this set of questions, we're going to use page 146 for the survey. So let's go ahead and quickly go to page 146 to look at the survey. Okay, so here it is, page 146. So this is the results from a sample class survey. So 20 students participated. So 20 students listed here. So they were asked these three questions. So what is your approximate height? Do you carry a cell phone with you? About how many text messages do you send in one day? So this was a survey consisting of 20 students. So for this question, let's focus on number 2. So do you carry a cell phone with you? So notice how out of 20 students total, there are 2 no's. That means 2 students don't have cell phones with them, but all the others do. So let's go back up to page 137. And it says, how many students in the class have a cell phone? So from this survey, we saw that there's 18 students that have a cell phone. What percent of the students in the class have a cell phone? So if it's percentage, well, first of all, as a fraction, it would be 18 out of the 20 students total surveyed, so it's 18 over 20. But to convert that to a percentage, we would just have to set up a proportion out of 100. So it's going to be 18 over 20 is equal to x over 100. And since we know that 20 times 5 would give you 100, so you would have to do the same thing to the top as well. So 18 times 5 is 90. And so this is 90 over 100. That's same thing as 90%. So 90% of the class have a cell phone. And does a percent of students in the class that have a cell phone represent a parameter or a statistic? So it would be a parameter in this case because it describes all the population or students in my class. Okay. So it's not just a part, it describes the population of all of my students. So it would be a parameter. Suppose you only want to survey a sample of the class about whether they have a cell phone. So discuss whether or not these samples would provide an accurate representation of all students in a class. So the selection of all the girls for the sample. So if we just select girls and have them take the survey, would that represent a accurate representation of all the students in a classroom? No, it won't be, because since the boys are excluded, right? So it's not going to be the accurate representation of all students in the class. How about if it's the selection of the students in the first seat of every row? First seat of every row. So it may or may not. Because if being in the first row is random, then yes, it would represent accurate. It would be an accurate representation of all students in a classroom because it's totally random. But if there are other reasons for being seated in the front row, for example, if I have some students like sit in the front row to have them pay attention better because of the behavior issues and so on, because of those like reasons, it's not going to be random. So then it won't be it won't be an accurate representation of all the students in the class. So it won't be, or it may or may not. Okay.